Hello, my name's McElroy from Sena Systems, and I'll be talking to you about the governance of identity risks. In today's business world, everything's about the individual. We're seeing an increasing level of consumerization in the use of technology as the pervasion of smartphones, highly personalized content, always-on information surrounds us. At this time of intense personalized content, there is an increasing burden of governance as we see the regulators and our increasing numbers of stakeholders demand greater transparency from our organizations. And our biggest challenge today is the lack of evidence of this separation of duties between the corporation which we serve and the organizations which look upon us for service. In that last point, the brand reputation of our organizations is now not only represented by the corporations we serve, but by the people who serve them, our executives, our leadership, the people who stand in front of our products. Their reputations, the personal values they bring to our organizations become part of our value proposition. Today, our enterprise technology services functions are incredibly cost-driven. We're seeing a complex matrix of service providers as we look for onshore and offshore services. We look for niche providers to deliver the functionality we require for our consumers. This has driven an intense level of maturity, and we're seeing reliance on standards such as ITIL, the ISO standards, as we all look to deliver everything as a service, both from standardized service catalogs through ITIL all the way through to the latest cloud-based services. And our world today is incredibly diverse. We have distributed environments spread across global networks. And across all of this, our enterprise IoT function has to demonstrate good control, governance, and audit. And yet today, our colleagues in the business view this as taking a massive leap of faith. They need to demonstrate a 360-degree view of the enterprise risk. They would like to see the most comprehensive view of the most personal levels of entitlement that their users deliver, and in a sustainable and cost-effective manner. And yet we see that there is also a barrier, an implicit barrier between business and IT, but yet we will work for those same organizations. Ultimately, the value to the organization is the value that is brought by its people. Data is the thing we all protect, and truly data is seen as the new oil. It's incredibly expensive to obtain, it's incredibly valuable to our customers. It's a massive target for theft. But by itself, without the intelligence applied by our people, it has less value. Because of the massive role that people play, we see identity at the very frontier, the new perimeter to our defense in depth strategy for security. And we have our constant challenges of who, what, when, where, and why. But in today's compliance-driven market, truly we must demonstrate every level of access. We need to demonstrate that the managers are actually authorized to make those approvals when they sign a new user into the organization. We need to control where people are signing in from, and we need to absolutely attest that the people who work for us are actually employed by the company and they are not an artifact of a system. Governance, risk and compliance management is business as usual. The special projects for compliance are now a thing of the past. This is how we do business every day. But yet our colleagues in the audit organizations are helping us manage an explosion of audit points with ever increasing levels of detail. But yet it's only through the intelligent analysis of that data that we're truly able to take action and inform decisions. And yet, at every point, at every step in those process flows, at every stage of a workflow, we need to evidence the actions that we're taking and demonstrate they've been made in an informed way. And without automation, trying to achieve this manually in the way we were doing 10 years, 5 years, 2 years ago is truly crippling, as that increasing level of audit efficiency, that increasing burden of proof drives us to ever more levels of detail. To get to a sustainable economic point for a compliance-driven organization, or an organization which is seeking to demonstrate effective management to its stakeholder community, we're recommending that you consider Oracle Identity Analytics. Oracle Identity Analytics today supports more than 3 million users and is protecting something in the order of 15 million entitlements. It provides the automation and the user-friendly attestation that allows IT to collaborate with business. It gives us a sustainable tool to demonstrate separation of the duties, and it generates reports in a sustainable way that saves the effort from crafting these things by hand. It enables you to generate a feedback loop to build upon that initial platform and demonstrate continual value to the business. Moving beyond compliance, which is the initial driver for so many of these programs, identity intelligence allows you to turn the data into something much more meaningful as we deliver for you that personalized understanding of the requirements for your users. What do they truly need access to, in what time frames, from which locations? And allows you to prove that the people who work for you, that bring value to your organization, are doing the right things for your consumers. Ultimately, everything to do with identity is about trust, and it's about brand, whether it's the brand for your corporation or the brand for the people who choose to come and work for you. Our call to action today is, very shortly my colleague will show you a demonstration of what Oracle Identity Analytics can do, and as one of the very few specialized partners from Oracle, we'd like you to contact us and arrange how we can deliver for you an identity management assessment and a proof of concept on what identity technologies from Oracle can do for you.
Thank you, Adam. My name's Scott Forrester. I'm a security architect here at Sena Systems, and today I will be demoing certifications using Oracle Identity Analytics, or OIA for short. We'll start by performing a certification task from a manager's perspective before going on to look at how certification tasks are created. So, a certifier, typically a manager, will receive an email generated by the system informing them of a certification task that requires their attention. In the same manner, OIA can also be configured to send notices of upcoming certifications and also reminders and escalations of incomplete tasks. So, clicking on the URL within the mail, I'll now log on as the certifier. So the first thing we notice is this alert in the yellow box telling us that we have a certification. We're also presented with a dashboard giving us useful management information. Clicking through and clicking on the information button, I can see currently 0% of this task is completed. I'll go to open the certification. My first task in step 1 of the certification process is to state whether or not these users work for me. If I need more information on the user, I can click through on more information and see HR type data that will allow me to make a decision. If I choose something other than works for me, such as terminated, I'm asked to enter comments which leave a full audit trail. We then go through to step 2. In step 2, we're asked to attest to the accounts and associated entitlements with those accounts. Expanding on Active Directory here, we have to verify whether or not this user should have an Active Directory account. Again, if I choose anything other than certify, I'm asked for comments which will be left to be viewed in reports. And we can see that each of the values here has a glossary term. These are user-friendly business terminology glossary terms for all the attributes, bar one here, which has been left in by way of example. Clicking through into the glossary term, we can see the underlying technical term. To make things quicker, I can actually select for all. In this case, I'm going to certify for all. And I can change one if I wish. So in the same manner, I go into the next account. Again, I'm going to certify this account and certify each of these entitlements. And on to the second user. And of course, we're only certifying two users in the second step, because in the first step, we said that one of the users didn't work for us. Completing the certification, we're asked to authenticate again. We view all our certifications. We see that the certification has now moved into a complete state. Clicking on information, we see 100% is done. We can view the reports associated with this complete certification. One report we may be interested in is the revoked access report. We typically automate the sending of such a report to the InfoSec team. In OIA, we also have the concept of remediation tracking. Here we can see the certification that we just completed with a status of 0%. The remediation process may be manual, i.e. removed by an admin having received a report from OIA, or it can be automated when OIA is integrated with Oracle Identity Manager. Either way, the remediation status will change to 100% when the changes have been made on the target system. We refer to this as closed-loop remediation. So, clicking through to see an example, this is the Active Directory group which we removed from this user. So that's a user entitlement certification from a certifier's perspective. So how do we go about creating a certification? We'll log on to OIA as an admin and create a similar certification to the one which we've just worked with. So first I want to show you the identity warehouse. The identity warehouse is a central repository of users, accounts and associated entitlements, and it's central to all the functionality within OIA. On the left here we have a business unit structure, typically modelled off the organisational structure. And if I drill down, we can actually see the business unit which we certified earlier. So here we have information relating to the business unit, and indeed you can see the manager's name here, or manager's ID, and that was the manager who we had certify. So clicking onto the Identity Certification tab, the first thing that we see is the dashboard, and this gives us useful management information. In the top left we can see certification by status, new, in progress, completed and expired. Below that, in the bottom left, we see notifications issued in the last week. We can also see that there's 3 levels of escalations there. So I'm now going to create a new certification. We'll work with a user entitlement certification, the most common form of certification, where we present a user-centric certification. Other options include application-centric certifications, data owner certifications. That's where we ask someone to certify a particular attribute value, perhaps where someone owns access to a sensitive share governed by an AD group, for instance. And finally, role entitlement for certifying role composition in cases where we have an RBAC framework. So we're going to use the user entitlement option. We also have the option to perform incremental certifications, which are deltas. We then select our user selection strategy. We have a number of options open to us to cut and slice the population we wish to certify. We're going to use a business structure certification, as it lends itself quite well to the certification task. And again, we'll be working with the services business unit. So I now choose my certifier. I can in fact choose anyone within the enterprise, or more typically the user's manager or the business structure manager. Should I wish to override the default configurations, I can do here. Things I can do such as edit certification options presented to the certifiers, and I can also set emails and reminders. I'm going to use the default configuration. Having created the certification, OIA has now sent a notification to the manager that a new certification task awaits them. That concludes the user entitlement certification demonstration.
Thank you, Scott. As we wrap up today, we'd just like to leave you with one thought. Please do contact us on the number on the screen and arrange with Nline and Sena how we can conduct a half-a-day identity management assessment for you and take you through a proof of concept about what you can achieve with Oracle Identity Technologies. Thank you.